Hello students, welcome to video classes. So yesterday I think we have solved some problems. So today I am going to explain the few concepts which are important for both PU and for competitive also. Okay. So first, before going to discuss about the concept, first we have to know that what is the distance of the nth bright band or the dark band. Okay, before that, if I will find out the nth band, the distance of nth band can be represented by yn is equals to delta x into capital D by small d. Okay, the distance of nth band yn is equals to delta x into capital D by small d. We can't find out the distance here. Okay, we are going to refer to the delta x is the path difference, and this path difference will decide that whether that band is the bright band or the dark band. Based on this formula, you can write down the distance of nth bright band. The distance of nth bright band means yn is equals to, at the place of delta x, what you can write, n lambda into capital D by small d. This is the formula to find out the nth bright band from the central band. Okay, n lambda is the wavelength, capital D distance of the screen, small d distance between the slits. Next, the distance of the nth dark band. The distance of the nth dark band yn is equals to, what is the formula will be 2n plus 1 into lambda into capital D by 2 into small d. This is the distance of nth dark band. So in the last class I already told you that the two types of conditions will be there in the case of the dark band. Either you can take 2n plus 1 or you can take 2n minus 1. And you know that what you are going to do if you are going to use plus or if you are going to use minus. If you are going to take 2n plus 1 condition, then whatever the band is given in the problem, one band less you have to take n value. If you are taking 2n minus 1, then whatever the band is given, directly you can take that band. Okay, don't be confused and don't forget about this condition. And while referring the different books, and don't be confused by seeing the conditions. In some books, it will be used as 2n plus 1 into lambda by 2. In some books, it will be used as 2n minus 1 into lambda by 2. Okay, don't be confused. So these are the formulas itself. Now, refer to this formula and this formula. Okay, the distance of the nth bright band and the distance of the nth dark band. Can you tell me what is the relation between number of band and the wavelength? Here, n represents number of band and lambda represents wavelength. N into lambda, that means there is an inversely proportional is there. Inversely proportional is there means what happened? N is proportional to 1 by lambda. That means if the lambda is going to be decreases, that means the distance will be remain same. Okay, the distance will be remain same. Then if n is proportional to 1 by lambda, wavelength decreases, what happened to number of bands? Increases. Okay, if the wavelength decreases, number of bands increases. If the wavelength increases, okay, if the wavelength increases, number of bands decreases. So that means what happens here, if you are saying that this yn will be remain same from central band to the band, a particular band, yn will be remain same. If you are going to change the wavelength, what happens in that particular distance, the number of bands will be increases or the number of bands will be decreases. This is a very important point you have to remember to understand the next concept itself. Okay, who will decide the number of bands will be produced in a particular distance? That will be decided by the wavelength. Okay, and what is the relation with the number of band? Inversely proportional. Okay, wavelength decreases, more number of bands will produce. If the wavelength decreases, wavelength decreases, more number of bands will produce. Wavelength increases, less number of bands are going to be produced. Okay, this is a condition. The distance will be remain same. In the same distance, okay, what happened? The number of bands are going to be increases or decreases. Okay, this concept you have to remember for our next concept. Let's go for the concept here. So, to explain that, I am going to take the nth double slit experiment here again. Okay, the ray diagram. We are going to take the two slits here. This is the slit 1 and this is the slit 2. Okay, this is S1 and this is S2. And we are just going to arrange a screen. And this is the center point of the screen. Let us say the center point will be O. Okay, the center point will be O. Now we are going to locate a point P on the screen. Okay, this is the point P you are locating, and the distance, let us say distance is yn. Okay, distance is yn. Now what happened? We are going to use a light, so a source of light which the wavelength is lambda. Then the light wave coming from the S1 is going to reach the point P, and the light coming from the S2 is also going to reach the point P. Then what happens here? Number of bands are going to be produced. Okay, let us say that how many number of bands are produced? n number of bands are produced. And what is the wavelength you are using? Lambda wavelength you are using. Now listen very carefully. When a light of wavelength lambda you are using, from point O to P, okay, you are not changing the distance, from point O to P, in between this distance, how many number of bands are producing? N bands are producing. Now just earlier as we discussed that this number of bands will depends on which physical quantity? Lambda. How the relation is there? N is proportional to 1 by lambda. If the remaining constant will be same, remaining constant same means distance of the screen is same, distance between the slits is same, and distance of the point is also same. Only what you are changing? Lambda you are changing. If you are going to change the lambda, what is going to be changes? Number of bands are going to be changes. So based on that, for example, what I am saying that if you are going to use the wavelength of lambda, how many bands are producing? N bands are producing. In case, if I am going to use the wavelength lambda 1, then how many number of bands will produce? N1. Okay, N1 bands are going to be produced. In case if I am going to use lambda 2, okay, wavelength I am going to change it to lambda 2. If the wavelength is changed to lambda 2, then same number of bands will be produced or different bands? Different bands are going to be produced. That time what happened? N2 bands are going to be produced. The distance is not changing. Okay, in the same distance yn, when you are going to use lambda 1, how many bands are producing? N1 bands are producing. When you are going to change the light to wavelength lambda 2, then how many number of bands are producing? N2 bands are producing. So what is happening here? At point P, N1th band is coinciding with N2 band. Okay, what is happening here? When you are going to doing the experiment, when you are going to use the lambda 1 at point P, which band is going to be produces? N1 band will be produces. And when you are going to change the wavelength, then at the same point is coincide with which band? N2 band. Okay, if you want to make like that, if you want to coincide a particular band with the other particular band, then what is the condition required? That condition is N1 lambda 1 is equals to N2 lambda 2. If this condition is satisfied, then what happened? The number of bands, the N1 band produced by the lambda 1 wavelength light is coincide with N2 band produced by the lambda 2 wavelength. For example, if I am going to tell you very clearly, if I am going to use the lambda 1, how many bands you are producing? 6 bright bands you are producing. 6 bright bands you are producing, and which band will be there here? 6th band will be there. Okay, you can consider whether it is a bright band or the dark band. Okay, 6th band is going to be produced right here. Next, when you are going to change the lambda 2, okay, when you are going to change the lambda 2, let us say that here 8 bands are going to be producing, 8 bright bands are producing. And what is the point P located? This point P is located with 8 bright band. Now what is happening here? When lambda 1 is going to be using, the wavelength of lambda 1 you are using, at point P, 6th bright band is producing. When you are going to use lambda 2, at the same point P, which bright band you are producing? 8 bright band. So what is happening here? The 6th bright band of lambda wavelength is coinciding with the 8th bright band of the lambda wavelength lambda 2. So if you want to make them coincide, okay, then what is the condition should be? The condition should be N1 lambda 1 is equals to N2 lambda 2. This condition is very important to solve the problems for both PU and competition also. Okay, N1, the number of bands produced due to the reason of wavelength of lambda 1. N2, number of bands produced due to the wavelength of lambda 2. Okay, remember this condition, which is very, very important. Right. Next, we are going to discuss about the superposition theorem. When we are going to refer to the superposition theorem, we already discussed that when the two light waves of coherent light sources, then what happens? There will be same amplitude should be there. Sometimes what happens? The amplitude may not be same. A slightly variation will be takes place. Then what happens? The equations can be written as y1 is equals to a1 sine omega t. This is the equation of the first wave, and y2 is equals to a2 into sine omega t plus phi. This is another wave equation. This is the equation 1 and this is the equation 2. So here what happened? The a1, a2, the amplitudes are not same but almost equal. There is a slight variation will be there. If the amplitude is variation is very maximum, on that condition what happened? We are not going to observe the clear bright band and the dark band separately. Okay, the bright band may not be completely bright or the dark band may not be completely dark. When it will happens? When the amplitudes are very far from each other. If the amplitudes are very nearer to each other, almost what happens, we can observe the bright band and the dark band conditions. If both are equal, then we are going to get the clear interference pattern, particularly bright band and the dark band we can observe very clearly. If the amplitudes are different, okay, little bit far from each other, then what happens, the interference pattern will not be appears little maximum clear itself. So here what I am saying that this A1 and A2 are slightly different, okay, and they are going to superimposing on each other. Then if we want to find out the resultant amplitude, when we are going to find out the resultant amplitude, then we are going to use the parallelogram law of vectors. In the case of parallelogram law of vectors, if the two vectors are making some angle theta, okay, the two vectors are making angle some theta, then what is the resultant vector will be? Okay, the resultant vector A is equals to under root of, or P is equals to, or R is equals to under root of P square plus Q square plus 2PQ cos theta. P and Q are the two vectors. Theta is the angle between them. R is the resultant vector. So R is equals to under root of P square plus Q square plus 2PQ cos theta, based on the parallelogram law of vectors. Same as easily when the two light sources are going to be superimposed on each other, then we are going to follow the same concept. Then what is the formula I will use? The resultant amplitude A is equals to under root of A1 square plus A2 square plus 2A1 A2 cos phi. What is phi represents here? Phase difference. How much phase difference is there? Based on that only what happened, the resultant amplitude is going to be changes, because this phase will decide whether we are going to get the bright band or the dark band, because we already discussed about the conditions, phase difference and the path difference condition. So this is the formula to find out the resultant amplitude when the two light sources are going to be superimposed on each other. So these are not coherent light sources but nearly equal to coherent light sources. That means there is a slight variation is there in between the amplitudes. Now, go and simplify this equation. I am going to take the squares on both sides. If you are going to take the squares on both sides, then it will become A square is equals to square root will be cancelled. Then A1 square plus A2 square plus 2A1 A2 cos phi. Okay, A square is equals to A1 square plus A2 square plus 2A1 A2 cos phi. Okay, this is also one equation. And now we are going to discuss about the intensity. Okay, earlier last class we have already discussed that the intensity is directly proportional to the square of the amplitude. Okay, intensity is directly proportional to square of the amplitude. Square of the amplitude means what you can write, I is proportional to A square. I is proportional to A square. If I is proportional to A square, that implies A is proportional to root I. Okay, try to remember these two formulas. Always remember the intensity of light wave or any wave. Intensity of a wave is always directly proportional to square of the amplitude. Then A is proportional to root I. That means at the place of A square what you can write I. At the place of A what you can write I. Root I. If A1 is there, I1. A2 is there, I2 you can write. That means by using this condition, this resultant amplitude can be written in the terms of resultant intensity also. Okay, if I write down in the terms of resultant intensity, what happened to this formula? A square means what you can write, I square is equals to A1 square means I1 square plus A2 square means I2 square plus 2A1 A2. A1 A2 means root I1. That means it can be written as 2 into under root of I1 I2 into cos phi. This is the formula to find out the resultant amplitude. Okay, the formula to find out the resultant amplitude. I square is equals to I1 square plus I2 square plus 2 root I1 I2 into cos phi. So these are the formulas are very important. Sometimes in the problems they will give you the amplitudes of the two light sources and will ask you that what is the resultant amplitude if they are going to be superimposed with the phase difference of phi or the phase difference of pi by 2 or the phase difference of 0, then what happened to the resultant amplitude? Then you are going to calculate by using this. And you want to find out the intensities. Intensities means you are going to use this one. Okay, so this is the formula to find out. Next one is the maximum intensity and the minimum intensity. Maximum intensity and minimum intensity means maximum intensity are going to be obtained. Okay, the intensity is maximum when you are going to take the A1 square plus A2 square. Okay, the maximum intensity you are going to be obtained when A1 square is equal A1 square plus A2 square. and minimum intensity you are going to be having I minimum is equals to A1 square minus A2 square. So that will give you the maximum and the minimum intensities you need to remember. Okay. So these are some of the very important formulas you need to remember. Okay. First one, resultant amplitude and resultant intensity. And don't forget about this condition. I is always proportional to A square and A is proportional to root I. Okay. So try to remember this one. And what are the first concept we have discussed today is also very important for both PU and for competitive part also. Okay. So what is the condition? If N1 band of produced by the lambda 1 wavelength is going to be coincide with N2 band of the wavelength produced by the lambda 2, then what is the condition should be? N1 lambda 1 is equals to N2 lambda 2. If that condition is going to be satisfied, then N1 band of lambda 1 is going to be coincide with N2 band of lambda 2. So these are the concepts. Okay, let's solve the problems now. Okay, go to the problems. Welcome back, students. So I hope we have read the problem. So in the problem they are used a filter. So what happens by using that filter, when a ray of light is going to be incident, then a monochromatic light is going to be comes outside. That means a single wavelength of light is going to be comes outside. So in the problem all the values are given to you. Distance between the slits is given to you 0.6 millimeters and the distance of the screen is given 2.5 meters, and here is given the distance between the adjacent bright bands. The distance between the two adjacent bright bands will represent the fringe width of the dark band, and we are already known that in the case of interference the fringe width of the bright band and the dark band will be remain same. That means in the problem the fringe width is given to us and is asking to find out the wavelength. So direct formula, let us write down the given values first. Distance between the slits is given small d. Small d is equals to 0.6 millimeters is given, that is equals to 0.6 into 10 power minus 3 meters. We need to convert it into SI units. Next, the distance of the screen is given to us 2.5 meters. So the distance of the screen capital D is equals to 2.5 meters. No need to change, it is already in the SI units. Next one is given the fringe width. The fringe width is given. Distance between the two adjacent bright bands is same. So that means it is nothing but the fringe width. It can be represented by 2.25 millimeters. So the beta is equals to given as 2.25 millimeters. If I were to convert it into SI units, then it will becomes 2.25 into 10 power minus 3 meters. Okay. So this is the values are given to us, and we need to find out the wavelength. So to find out the wavelength, first we have to write down the fringe width formula. So the fringe width beta is equals to the formula is lambda into capital D by small d. This is the formula to find out the fringe width, and we need to find out the lambda. So that implies lambda is equals to D is going to numerator, then it becomes D into small d by capital D. Okay. Go and substitute the values here. Lambda is equals to beta value is already given to us 2.25. So that is 2.25 into 10 power minus 3 into small d value is also there 0.6. 0.6 into 10 to the power of minus 3 by, and capital D is given to us, how much it is there? 2.5. So it is 2.5. Okay. Right. So when I want to simplify this all values, okay, multiply the 10 powers and multiply the numerators and divide with denominators, then we are going to get the final answer as 5400. So the lambda is equals to 5400 into 10 to the power of minus 10 meters. Okay, 5400 into 10 to the power of minus 10 meters. 10 to the power of minus 10 can be written as Angstrom units. So that implies lambda is equals to 5400 Angstrom units. So this is the answer itself. So in the problem, so read the problem very carefully, and what are the values are given, you can just write down those values, then you will get some idea to solve the problem itself. And don't forget about this formula. Let's go for next problem. Welcome back, students. So for this problem, the concept just now we have discussed, the N1 band of lambda 1 wavelength of light is going to be intersect or is going to be coincide with the N2 band of the wavelength lambda 2. So in the problem is saying that the fourth bright band should coincide with the sixth bright band, and the fourth bright band is produced by which wavelength? It is given 430 nanometers. 430 nanometers it is given. That means lambda 1 is 430 nanometers, N1 is equals to 4 we have to take, N2 is equals to 6, and we have to find out the lambda 2. So that means write down the given values here. Let us say N1 is equals to 4 and the lambda 1 is equals to 430, and it is given in nanometers, 430 nanometers. Let us say that N2 is equals to 6 and we have to find out lambda 2. Okay, we need to find out the lambda 2. And what is the condition we have discussed? N1 lambda 1 is equals to N2 lambda 2. So the condition to coincide the two bright bands is N1 lambda 1 is equals to N2 lambda 2. Okay, try to remember the condition. We have to find out the lambda 2. So lambda 2 is equals to N1 lambda 1 by what you can write N2. N1 lambda 1 by N2. So it is N1 is given 4 into it is 630 into 10 to the power of minus 9 nanometers by N2 is, we are going to write down 6. Okay. So 4 by 6 into 630 into 10 power minus 9. If you are going to simplify that value, the final answer you are going to get is 286.67. 286.67. Lambda 2 is equal to 286.67. It will be in nanometers because it is 10 power minus 9 units. So this is the answer you have to find out. Okay, 286.67 nanometers. And this is a formula. N1 lambda 1 is equals to N2 lambda 2. Okay, let's go for next part. Welcome back, students. The problem is important. The problem is on the concept of the shift in the central bright fringe due to the introduction of a thin transparent glass plate. So I already told you at the time of concepts that in which path of the ray of light, if you are going to introduce the glass plate, in that direction only what happened, the shift is going to be takes place. So do you remember that formula? What is the formula here? Delta x, the fringe shift, S is equals to, okay, S is equals to capital D by small d into mu minus 1 into t. So that means there is a path difference is going to be produces. The path difference is mu minus 1 into t. Delta x is equals to mu minus 1 into t. This much path difference is going to be produces. This path difference, if this mu minus 1 into t is equals to n lambda, then you are going to get the bright band. And if you are going to get delta x is equal to n plus 1 into lambda by 2, then you are going to get the dark band. Then how much shift is produced means S is equals to capital D by small d into mu minus 1 into t. This is the formula. Capital D represents distance of the screen, small d represents distance between the slits, mu represents refractive index, and t represents thickness. I think in the problem the values of thickness is given to you. Refractive index is given 1.6 and the thickness you have to find out. We have to find out the thickness. And in the problem the wavelength of the light is given 5400 angstrom units. But we are not going to use this formula because we didn't have capital D value and small d value. But how much shift is there? It is given. He is saying that the 8 fringes are going to be shifted. How many? 8 successive maxima. That means the central bright band is shifted to 8 bright bands. Okay, shifted to 8 bright bands. That means S is equals to what you can take? 8 beta. But we can't use this formula. That means we have to change this formula. What is the other form of the shift formula? At the place of d by small d, what you can write? Beta by lambda. That means S is equals to beta by lambda into mu minus 1 into t. You need to remember these two formulas. Based on the given data, you need to select the formulas. How we are going to derive this equation? Beta is equals to lambda into capital D by small d. If the lambda is coming to denominator, that implies beta by lambda is equals to capital D by small d. So at the place of capital D by small d, what you can write? Beta by lambda you can write. So now what you can write at the place of s, you can write 8 beta, lambda wavelength is already given in the problem, mu value is given, refractive index, you need to find out the thickness. Okay, like that you have to select the formula. So the problem is very important, take a star mark. So before that, write down the values, given values first. Okay. So the first one you can write down, S is equals shift is given. Shift S is equals to how much is given? 8 beta is given. Refractive index is given. How much it is? Refractive index is 1.6. Mu is equals to, it is given 1.6. And then the wavelength is also given to you. How much it is given? 5400 angstrom units. Lambda is equals to 5400 angstrom units it is given. Okay, these are the given values. Let us write down the formulas. So the shift produced S is equals to beta by lambda into mu minus 1 into T. Okay, beta by lambda is equals into mu minus 1 into T. Okay, go and substitute the values first. At the place of S, what I can write? 8 beta. 8 beta is equals to beta by lambda into mu minus 1 into T. What is going to be cancelled here? Beta is going to be cancelled. We need to find out the thickness. So the thickness T is equals to lambda is going to numerator. So it will becomes 8 lambda by mu minus 1 is coming to denominator. Mu minus 1 is coming to denominator. Go on, substitute the values. 8 will be written as easily. Lambda means 5400 into 10 power minus 10 divided by mu minus 1. 1.6 minus 1. Okay, this is the simplification itself. Okay, if you are going to simplify this, 8 into 5400 into 10 power minus 10, 1.6 minus 1 is nothing but 0.6. Okay, if you are going to simplify all those values, you are going to get the thickness as 7.2 into 10 power minus 6. So the thickness T is equals to 7.6 into 10 to the power of 7.2 into 10 to the power of minus 6. It will be in meters. Okay, 7.2 into 10 to the power of minus 6 meters. So this is the problem formula you need to remember. T is equal to 7.2 into 10 to the power of minus 6 meters. And this is the formula which is very, very important. Both the forms you have to remember. Read the problem very carefully. Depend on the given data, you need to select the formula. Okay. So that's all for today. See you in the next class with the next concept. Thank you.